So even in these appropriation bills, they don't appropriate anything for any function that the current Department of Education actually does. Can that like close it? Can they close it through an appropriation bill, or they have to have a different statute where we would be able to advocate for having a Department of Education?
So technically, they could put a sentence in an appropriations bill that says we propose closing the Department of Ed, moving its functions elsewhere, et cetera. We don't anticipate that that will be, especially in a Senate bill. And I've heard nothing about it being in the House bill, but again, I'm not privy. None of us get to read those bills until they come out of the full markup. And so there's a technical way to do it, but we don't expect that to happen through appropriations. The disability community has been very clear that we do not want that to happen and that Congress cannot, through an appropriations function, change an authorizing law. Remember, these are separate functions in our Congress. There are authorizers and there are appropriators. These appropriators have a very distinct role to fund federal programs that exist through authorizing laws. And so making a change to an authorizing law, it's looked down upon because it's disrespectful to the authorizers who have the authority to change those laws. And while there are bills introduced, none of those bills have been taken very seriously, thankfully. So COPA, along with all of our partners in the disability community, this is the Consortium for Constituents with Disabilities, CCD. It's about 125 national organizations. We all work together on disability policy, and COPA helps co-lead the education portfolio, the education task force inside CCD. We all agree that is a terrible idea. We have said, do not do that from the very beginning. We do not want an education law that is meant to sit with and be supported by. Remember, our kids are in schools, right? They don't sit in schools just for kids with disabilities for the most part. I know some kids are in those schools, but generally. And more than half of kids with disabilities live in poverty. So the Title I money is so important. Access to career and technical education, access to vocational rehab, which comes through another law, access to higher education. These are all distinct laws that have all been aligned by Congress in some way and include children with disabilities. We don't want IDEA pulled out of that ecosystem and sent over to a health agency.
Yes, because our children aren't sick.
Nope. And
Uh,
we don't want them to be viewed as something through a medical model. It doesn't help support their access from birth to adulthood in terms of that continuum of the types of educational supports and services they might need. Now, they might need healthcare. We know some do. That is a different topic. Then how are we ensuring that you have access to your education and to the services and supports you need along the way?